What is that park called right across from the zoo? McClatchy
Land
Park.
And oop.
What do I always ask? What was noteworthy? What was notable? For lack of a better word, what was interesting?
And oop.
But who has time for that? Well, I want to get to Severance.
Severance.
And oop.
Greetings, Internet. Welcome to But I'm Still a Good Person by Vince Nicholas. I'm Vince Nicholas. I'm joined by my sparkling wifey, Carolyn Nicholas.
Hi.
Hello, honey. Thank you for joining me at our dining room table for this little program here. Okay. Now, I was listening to another podcast.
Not ours?
Yes. No. I listen to ours sometimes. Sometimes it's too cringe.
I know.
And I'm like, I don't need to hear that. They can't all be winners, honey. But I was listening to a podcast called Distractable. It's okay. It's three dudes chit-chatting. It's not great, but it'll pass the time. But one of their topics was disappointing our parents. Disappointing. And they told stories about how they disappointed their parents in their youth, obviously. And it made me, caused me to think about how I disappointed my parents. And listen, the flood, the cavalcade, the wave, the tsunami of memories that overtook my brain, too much to count. But I thought of one specifically, and I asked you to think of one specifically. And I will start because mine is more, it's more maudlin, if you will. What was mine?
I don't remember.
Okay. So I'm setting the scene. San Diego, California, the Tony suburbs.
The year is
1988. The time, post-Halloween. So we went, and by we I meant me, my stepbrother, and my stepsister. We went trick-or-treating, like as kids do. And we got a ton of candy, came back, and we had a buttload of candy. Threw it on the family room floor, and everyone knows this ritual. And so Grandpa Curtis, my stepdad, put it all into a big Tupperware plastic container. And it was a ginormous amount of candy, and he said, okay. And the first night, we went hog wild. We could eat as much as we wanted or eat whatever we wanted. But he put it into this Tupperware container, and he said, you get one piece of candy per day, each of us, all three of us. So 3 pieces of candy a day. And those were the rules for whatever reason. Okay. And then he put this piece of Tupperware up in the top shelf in a cabinet in the kitchen. So it would be, quote unquote, out of reach. As if we couldn't hop on the frickin' counter or grab a chair or whatever. And so, but that was his rule. 1 piece of candy. I don't know why.
because he's a responsible parent.
Sure. Yes.
Yes.
And that rule lasted maybe 24 hours. It didn't last. And so we just ate a bunch of candy.
Were you sneaky? Like, was he at work?
Yes.
Or...
Well, it was like we'd come home, latchkey kids, come home, and parents are still at work. And we came home at whatever, 3 or whatever. And, I mean, we weren't sneaky about it because they weren't home, honey. They should have been home 24/7 monitoring.
Kurt should have hauled that big tub to work with him every day.
Yes.
To prevent you guys from eating the candy.
Yeah. Well, he should have put a lock on the cupboard on the cabinet, or he should have stood guard like the Buckingham Palace guys with the big furry hats. So it's really his fault. But yeah, we tore through a bunch of this candy really quickly, and a few days later, he looked up at this big piece of Tupperware. And there was 10% of the candy there after a few days, and he was not happy, and so he merited punishment.
Ooh.
And it was spanking. Yeah. And he spanked all 3 of us. And side note about spanking. This is how Kurt disciplined us. And I hold no ill will. I'm not resentful. I'm not angry. I don't care. It's a effective form of punishment.
It sounds like, from what you've told me over the years,
Yeah.
it was only a handful of times he ever spanked you guys.
Right. Yeah.
And it was never, like, to a alarming degree.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And when we were younger, he used his hand, and when we were older, and we got thick, our bootay, we got that thick bootay. We got bigger. He switched to a wooden dowel.
Dowel? Oh, like the thing you stick in a window? Like a...
Yeah, like a circular wooden
Yeah. I think dowel's the right word, yeah.
dowel.
Mm-hmm.
DOWL.
I don't know.
But it was about inch and a half in circumference, diameter, and it was like 3 to 4 feet long.
Ah.
Yeah, and again, I bear zero ill feelings, resentment. It worked. It was very effective. But how much should I say? Like going into his bedroom, which is where this punishment was allocated. It was very odd. Like you were a terrorist walking into a CIA black site about to get waterboarded or something.
Did he bring you in one at a time?
Yes.
Would it have been more effective to witness the punishment happen to your siblings?
That's
I
a
wonder.
good question.
This all makes me uncomfortable. Did your mom care, or was she supportive of him punishing in this regard?
She was supportive. And I think Kurt only did it because that's what happened to him. His parents did it to him.
Yeah.
And again, I do not care. I'm a perfectly well-suited individual today. But it was, I think it was rare back then.
To get spanked?
Yeah. No?
I don't think so.
Is it rare today?
I'm not sure. I think it's rarer.
Have you heard about it? Do you hear other parents?
Yeah.
Corporal
I know
punishment.
other parents still do spank. I think it's
really?
less rare than it was 30 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure it
What
still
about
happens.
35? Because I'm 44, honey, and this was when I was 8-ish, 9-ish.
I remember talking about this when we were dating.
Yes.
Do you recall this night we had like a conversation about this? We were out to dinner because I have kids.
Yeah.
You were my potential future baby daddy.
Your suitor? Yes.
And I remember you telling me, yeah, you got spanked as a kid. And you were spanked by your stepdad, which is like another element.
Yeah.
And so then I was thinking, well, you're going to be potentially my kid's stepdad. How do you
Yes.
feel about this? Is that
Yes.
something you would do?
Yes.
And
I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
I adamantly said, I don't spank.
Yeah.
It's not happening. You are not ever doing it.
Yeah.
And by the end of that conversation, we were like on the same page. So then, yay, I knew that we could move forward with our relationship.
And oop.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't, for the life of me, and again, I don't care what Grandpa Curtis did. I think it was fine.
Yeah.
If you want to spank, spank away. If you don't want to spank, don't spank.
I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
What would you say?
I am completely anti-spanking. 100%.
Okay.
I don't see any need for it ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also, like, I don't have any bad feelings towards what happened to you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like what happened to you was not major. Like, as far as spanking goes, it was pretty mild. It sounds like. I wasn't there.
It worked. I would never call it, quote unquote, abusive or he went above and beyond. It was merited. I'm not a perfect angel. But as far as me, I could never in a million years think of spanking Luna or Lennox.
I can't picture that happening either.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they were my blood, if they were my DNA, if they were my quote unquote real kids, maybe that would twist it a little, but even then I couldn't see spanking them. But I can't put myself in that position because that's not what is our reality. So and Kurt spanked his quote unquote own kids, his DNA kids.
Yeah.
And he spanked me in a fair manner.
He treated you all equal, which is the most important thing here.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So back to the Halloween candy. So we tore through the majority.
You guys were not sneaky. Like, you were not methodical about this.
Yeah.
Like, you just tore through it.
Oh, you think we should have done like 4 pieces instead of, or 2 pieces each, 6 pieces?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we should have been smart about it, but we were dumb kids.
Okay, you deserve that spanking, I guess.
And so, yeah, he spanked us, and that's how I disappointed my mom and stepdad. But in the bigger picture, it wasn't a big deal, but I felt definitely from Kurt. I felt disappointment, and it wasn't a disappointment that we like candy or we were misbehaving, but that we didn't follow his rules, which we felt were unfair. And now that I'm 44, I still think are unfair. Eating 1 piece of freaking candy when you got 600 pieces of candy that we got for free, and who cares? But anyways, that's how I disappointed my parents. Honey, please. Regale us with your tale.
Okay. So I have disappointed my parents in many horrifying and deep ways that cannot be mentioned.
Who hasn't? Welcome to the club. I hear you, sister.
Yeah, when you brought this up the other night, I was like, wow, anything like that was truly a disappointment. I'm not comfortable with yelling to you in the pod and our friends on the internet here tonight. But I did think
our podcast friends. Yes.
This did trigger a memory.
Mm-hmm.
And oop.
I was in 9th grade.
Yes.
And one of my brothers was 3 years older than me. So we had the privilege and the joy of attending high school together for 1 year. He was a senior and I was a freshman.
Okay.
And he was, like, we were buddies. Like, we would hang out at school. We would see each other. Yeah. We were totally...
This was your middle brother.
Yeah, I have...
Cameron Fisher.
There's 4 of us total children. He and I are the middle kids.
Right.
And we were, like, good friends, like, all throughout our youth and teen years. Mm-hmm. Like, he was such a cool older brother. He always included me, made me feel special, and, like, I was one of his friends and peers, so he was, like, the best.
He's still a cool older brother.
He still is.
Uncle Cameron is.
He's the best.
Yeah. He's great.
He's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, during the school year, I have to say this was his idea because I was I was a young innocent freshman.
You're blaming the planning of this nefarious actions.
So
on him. You're innocent.
I am innocent. Yes. I just went along for the ride. He suggested one day.
You're like the person who drives the getaway car in the bank robbery. I didn't know. My friend got in the car and he told me to take him to downtown. Yes. He
suggested one day, let's ditch school.
Okay.
Together. So he had his own car.
Yeah. And there's been zero previous illicit behavior from him, right? He's a good boy.
We were both good kids.
Right.
Neither of us had, or I don't know, to my knowledge, neither of us had ever ditched school.
Right.
And I think this was the only time, like, I officially ditched school, like, for an entire day.
Okay.
We were both so good. Come on. So he had his own car, and he would drive us to school, and we would pick up a couple of friends in the neighborhood. So he was the driver, and we'd carpool to school every day.
Oh, so cool when you had a car in high school.
Weren't those fun days?
Yeah.
I remember that. So this was a long time ago. How old am I? This is like 20 years ago. No, more. Anyway, so some of my memories from the day are fuzzy, but
yeah, I
remember. This is why I remember from our scandalous ditching.
So at 6 a.m. did you go, it's the morning, we're gonna ditch?
It was like act normal, carry on as you normally would. So we got up, we got ready.
Don't alert anyone with your questionable behavior.
We picked up the people that we also drove to school.
Okay.
And we took them to school and dropped them off.
They weren't in on the plan. They weren't cool enough.
They must have known because we just dropped them and then we left.
Oh.
So
they were like, you guys break the law. And you guys cause truancy.
So we dropped them off. We left.
Okay.
And this was in South Sacramento.
Yes.
Is where our high school was located.
Mm-hmm.
And then he and I were like, oh, I don't remember if we planned out the day or if we just like, we were like, let's see where like our hearts lead us today.
Yeah.
But we started out the day by going to breakfast at McDonald's.
Okay. Did you get an Egg McMuffin or a Sausage McMuffin with egg or the hotcakes?
I'm an Egg McMuffin girl.
You are.
Yeah. So we got breakfast at McDonald's and then we were kind of like...
This isn't exactly a Bonnie and Clyde, honey, but go on.
We decided that we wanted to go to Land Park in Sacramento.
Okay.
And which is well known for its glorious trees and grassy hills and
beautiful,
lakes. Yeah. It's right across from the Sacramento Zoo.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of ducks.
Yeah.
So we said, let's go feed the ducks. So we went to the grocery store and we bought a loaf of bread.
Lamest ditch day ever? Really? You bought some bread?
Yeah. What were we going to feed the ducks with? Our McDonald's?
Was it Wonder Bread? Was it Dave's Killer Bread? Was it...
I would just like to interject here.
Yeah.
Bread is really bad for ducks. And I didn't know this at the time. Okay. Don't feed bread to ducks, okay? Anyway, so we got some bread.
But you were going hog wild. You were going crazy. You were going ham. You threw caution in the wind. So you were like, let's feed some duck bread to the ducks. Let's feed some duck to the breads.
We were doing whatever the hell we wanted.
Yeah.
So we were going to a beautiful park in the beautiful morning sunlight to feed these ducks. Yeah. So we did that. We went to the park. We walked around.
McDonald's feeding ducks. Wow, this is one for the books, honey. I'm going to call the police right now. Excuse me, sir. What's the statute of limitations on crime that's been committed?
Just don't get my high school diploma revoked. So after that, we went and we had lunch at Eppie's.
Okay.
And sadly, I cannot remember what I ordered.
So McDonald's and Eppie's did you next go to the gym, honey? Putting on some calories there.
Whatever. I was a young kid.
Yeah.
After
calories don't matter. Yes.
We decided, at the time, my brother had a girlfriend who went to a different high school.
Oh, those were always exotic.
I know. Other high schools are so exotic.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. They're it's like being in a movie.
It's a different world. Well, like when you're young, your high school is everything. It's the entire world. And so to go to a different high school or even communicate or hang out or know someone from a different high school, it's like, oh, you're from a different planet.
It's bizarre.
It's very bizarre. It's very odd. Well, okay, so Cameron had a girlfriend at a different high school.
She attended a different high school from ours.
Ooh la la, doesn't Nicole know?
So he and I, he went.
How did he know her? How did they meet? Was it through church stuff?
She was Mormon also, okay. But no, he knew her through this like extracurricular dancing group that we were all in.
Oh, okay.
That's how they knew each other.
Was that the dance troupe that took you to Europe?
Yeah.
With Bailey Quist?
Exactly.
Okay.
So she was a part of that.
Yes.
And it was in Carmichael,
okay.
I believe. So
you went to her high school?
I feel like we went and we got our gift somewhere. I don't know if we went back to the grocery store, but I feel like we went to her high school and he took her a little gift.
You went to the Hallmark store in the mall.
And I did not go. I think I sat in the car.
Yes. So you didn't. So he was like, let me have my moment here.
So we went into the school and he like delivered this gift to her. And
was there a kissy kissy, smoochy smoochy?
I hope so.
Okay.
I wasn't there though. So we had to get back. We were trying to we didn't want our parents to know. So
I wonder what the gift was. You don't remember?
I don't know.
Ask him right now via text message.
Oh, we'll ask him. So we were trying to get back home like at our normal time. Mm-hmm. So that was the entirety of our day.
I would have gotten a teddy bear holding a heart.
It was probably something equally charming.
The classic.
So I can't remember if we went back to our high school and picked up our friends or not. But we went home.
They were like, "Where's Cameron? He ditched us this morning, and it's fine if you want to go out and go break the law and cause truancy, but we need a ride home. No.
So we got home at our normal time, and the next day we went to school, and I forged handwritten notes that were allegedly from our mom saying we were out the previous day. I don't remember why. Were we sick?
Handwritten.
And I forged her signature, and it looked terrible because I was 15.
Yeah.
But no one ever questioned it.
This is the biggest crime.
So we turned those into the office.
Oh,
do you remember
my goodness.
your mom would write a note on a piece of paper and you'd rip it off and take it to the office?
Oh yeah, and they'd be like, okay, and they accepted it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
We never got caught for our crime, but 2 days later,
the office secretary should be indicted also in this crime spree. It doesn't stop, honey.
A couple days later, we told our mom.
Because, but why? Did you? Were you simmering? Were you you and Cameron were whispering around?
No. I don't.
Did you just have it inside you and you were just like, we?
No, neither of us really felt guilty or bad, but
okay.
I think Cameron just thought it was funny, and he was like, "Guess what we did?"
Oh dear.
And so we told her the whole tale and what we did, and she was probably like, "You guys are losers." Not really, but she's probably like, "Okay, well that's pretty funny and sweet, and you're spending the day with your sibling doing these totally nice, not harmful, bad things."
Yeah.
But so we told her, and she was kind of like, "Well, don't do that ever again," scolding us, but we never got in trouble for it.
Huh.
School never found out. And this is kind of. My brother, Cameron, was like...
She should have spanked your ass with a wooden dowel.
My brother is he was always very open and honest with my parents. And he was always he was just beloved by everybody. And he's so charming and sweet and funny. I remember...
He's adorable, yeah.
I remember he came home one night from a date, and it was his very first kiss. And
was it the same girl?
No. This was a couple years prior.
Cameron Fisher.
He came home from this date with this girl, and he came straight in the house and told my parents. He wanted to tell my parents all about it.
Yeah.
So that's just how he is.
He spilled the tea.
He was just always very open and funny.
Yeah.
And everyone just loved him.
Yeah.
So of course he tells this story, and he's funny, and he's cute and charming about it.
Yeah.
So
your parents bought into
my
his
mom's
nonsense?
I can't be mad at you.
Oh dear.
And luckily I got to ride those coattails for a little bit. So all in all, it's a great memory.
Yeah.
It was a really fun day with my older brother.
Yeah.
And I think that was more important to my parents than the fact that we ditched school one day, because we were really good kids and we didn't really do anything bad ever.
Right. It wasn't a pattern of behavior.
Right.
And you didn't end up robbing the local AM/PM Arco.
We didn't go smoke with the ducks.
Right.
We just fed them, okay?
Maybe smoking would have been better since you told me 10 minutes ago that bread was bad for the ducks.
Maybe.
Does it ever come up now? Do your parents or does your mom think about it? Does your dad know? Did he eventually find out?
I remember telling my mom, I'm sure he knows or found out.
He's about to find out. Alan Fisher's about to rain down punishment from post haste 30 years or something.
I had not thought about this in a really long time until you brought up the topic of being bad and disobedient.
Yeah. Well, what about well, let's take the two scenarios and place them onto our current Wild Chows. If they ate more than one piece of candy, Grandpa Curtis, one piece per day. What the heck are you? That wouldn't be a big deal. But Luna and Lennox are similar. They're like 3 years difference.
Exactly, and me and my brother were 3 years, and they're 3 grades apart. Also, he and I were 3 grades apart, so they're pretty much the same age difference.
Okay, so let's get meta with this. So Luna would drive Lennox to McDonald's, and then Eppie's, and then Luna would go see her boyfriend at a different high school. Ooh.
Honestly, if our kids did this in the future, I don't care.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being upset at them for that.
It'd be quite the tale. And did it turn into good content for TikTok? And that's what really matters. Yeah. mostly innocent, and you don't want it happening every day. A long-term pattern. But taking one day off for hijinks and nonsense, not a big deal.
You gotta be thankful your kids are not doing anything worse, right?
Right.
Like stealing candy?
Honey, one piece of candy?
That is really strict.
And oop.
Alrighty. Well, are we done, honey?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that's the end of the program. It's been fun, but not really. Let's all try a little harder next time. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, review, and rate. Or don't. Do whatever you want. You're a grown-up. Make your own decisions. Do what's best for your family. Please be sure to use our promo code for Grammarly. We don't have a promo code for Grammarly. Goodbye. I'm sorry. Take 2. Goodbye, my podcast friends. I love you. My wife and I love you. We hope you have a good day today and tomorrow. And sure, I may have disobeyed my stepdad's order to eat one piece of Halloween candy per day, but I'm still a good person, and we're still good people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for caring. I hope you have a wonderful day/night. Bye.
And oop.
We got chicken.
Is that crispy, juicy tender?